WCRX. Joining us today is the wonderful Liam Mcdonald. Hi, Liam.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for having me onto your show.
Oh, you're more than welcome. The pleasure's all mine. So let's dive straight into it. For those people who don't know who you are, please describe your artwork for us.
Okay, keep it nice and short. My work is a bit like a reality show. It allows the audience into my life. The audience can see about my past events, my sexual relationships, the people I've been intimate with, my inner emotions, my thoughts, my everyday living. That's mainly the work that I create. My medium that I use to portray this is text, acrylic paint on canvas. I do photography, sculptures, film. I do quite a broad.
Wow, so you really are a jack of all trades. So just to sort of summarise, you're saying that your artwork is basically a window into your soul.
Yes.
Fantastic. So your paintings are quite striking to the innocent eye because they are sort of very graphic scenes of sexual acts. What was the main influence behind you initially using sex in your artwork?
Sex to me is a very important thing. I love feeling loved. I love being in love. I love intimacy. I love contact. I love flesh. I love sharing an intimate moment with somebody. But where sex came from in my work is when I was young, growing up, my sexuality played a load of tricks on my mind. I was exploring my sexuality with older people in the sexual community, in the gay community, sorry. Things such as cruising, which is where people meet one another, strangers, to have sex. I played a good role in that at a young age. So sex has come from when I was younger, and I put this into my artwork because it's an important thing to me.
So, because your artwork is so, I want to avoid the word graphic because that makes it sound negative, but I suppose because it is so vivid, I understand you receive a lot of negativity, so a lot of critical reception. So what do people generally say when they see your artwork on a canvas?
I get a huge mixed reaction. I really do. It is definitely 50-50. I could divide a nation with my work. Some people really, really hate it, and I've been called poison to the art world. Wow. Yet some people really love it, and I think it's comfort zone. I think my work is nothing abnormal. Everybody has gone through what I've gone through. They're just not as open with it. They wouldn't tell their parents, their friends. Sometimes they don't admit it to themselves. My work is so open, it causes a fear. People look at my work and they either relate, and sometimes they don't want to admit, and it causes an automatic hate for it. But I think it's the comfort zone. I am definitely miles away from the comfort zone when it comes to my work, and the audience can see this. So that's why I think it's very divided.
So as a creator of such controversy, what do you, when you're painting something, what do you visualize the audience member taking away from it? What do you want people to think when they look at your work?
So my main goal when it comes to this is I would like people to walk away from my paintings having a conversation with themselves, talking to themselves about how many people they've been intimate with, how many people they've slept with, how many people they were in contact with. It causes conversation, which is good. It goes back to Banksy. Banksy does not graffiti on an art wall for people to walk past. He does it for people to think about politics, to gain an opinion, to speak about your opinion, to cause some kind of debate with yourself. My work does that, just in a completely different form.
Okay. That's brilliant. I mean, when I first initially looked at your work, I was initially taken aback because, I mean, it's normal to see, heterosexual couples having sex in artwork, whereas gay sex, and for it to be painted so vividly, it's more rare. You don't really see that as much. So I understand as well that you use a lot of text in your artwork, which has also caused some controversy because you use the names of the people you've had sex with and when you've had sex with them. Why do you do this?
Okay. Good question. I get a slap on the wrist every time I use somebody's name. But the text, when I was 15, I was going through your average teenager emotions, my home life, bullying, and I was getting a lot of help. And one of the things I was told to do was to write down how I feel, my emotions. And I've done that for years, ever since 15, and I've not stopped doing that. I constantly write every single day how I feel, short and snappy, just how I feel. And again, I want people to walk with my work and to remember people who they've slept with, and to generate that is I use people's names who I've been with and the dates and where I have done, because I'm allowing the public to know when I was intimate with somebody, when the last time I was intimate, who I was intimate with, even if it was reckless sex or if it was intimate sex. So that's why I use people's names and dates.
So people can really get down to the bottom of, you know, when you created this, why you created it, etc. No, that's brilliant. Also, something else that has caused controversy, which you mentioned to me just before we did the interview, that the Canvas Act, the Vivid Canvas Act, as I mentioned at the start, it was actually you having sex on a canvas, which is what I didn't realise. Tell me about that, please.
Well, I do this and masturbation on a canvas. I love recording the movement in sex. It's almost like watching a film or a pornographic film. My goal is to have 40-something canvases throughout my life of people who I've had sex with, because you can tell a great deal from these canvases. You can see if it's just reckless sex, somebody who I don't know, and then you can see on other canvases it's truly intimate, the way the marks are made, because I paint myself and the other person and we have sex on top of the canvas, and it creates these colours, it creates this movement, and it's keeping a visual blog of who I've been with, and that's my main goal. So I started it when I was 17, 18, and I'm not going to finish this series until I'm at least 40, 50. So I want to have a solo show with all these canvases in. And
I wonder how many you're going to have at the end when you're 70. So that's sort of a project you're doing at the moment then, these live canvas paintings?
An ongoing project.
So are there any other projects that you're involved in at the moment?
That's my main one. Okay. Project-wise, not relating to art. It is related to art, but not artwork. I've got more TV, radio talks, gallery shows, online talks that are coming up, which is a good thing.
Brilliant, how exciting. So I feel like for you at the moment it is just a matter of getting yourself out there in any way that you can. So it is brilliant to learn that, you know, you are doing all these things. So the protests that you did in London, which actually we haven't spoke about, have we? So you are originally from near London, am I correct?
Yes, so I was born and raised in Wiltshire. I moved to London. I've got 2 studios, one in America and one in East London.
Fantastic. So when you were in London, you did a protest which got you quite a lot of attention on social media for the rights of immigrants in the United Kingdom. So if you could just tell us a bit about that, what influenced you to do it?
We had an upcoming election. We had Brexit that's just happened. We are leaving the EU. It's caused outrage, and it's caused a lot of people like UKIP and Donald Trump to have a platform to bring in hate groups, like the KKK and the white supremacy. I disagree 110% with this awful act that is happening in this world right now. In London, there were people protesting, going against immigrants, saying we need to remove all immigrants, which is impossible, which we must not do. So I took it upon myself to fight back, and it caused a lot of love for me. And there was a protest that day where Jeremy Corbyn came out to speak. So it's full of very mixed audience. So I was talking to people with this protest.
Well, brilliant. It's really nice to see young artists actually giving back to the world and the community and trying to create a positive light around them. So that is really commendable for you for doing that, and I hope that you carry on doing things like that. So I'm really excited to see what comes next from you, Liam. It's been amazing talking to you today. So make sure you follow him on all social media platforms. So if you want to give them your panel.
At Liam Stonier Mcdonald.
Nice and straightforward. So follow Liam on all social media because his work is great. Check it out and just keep track of what he's doing in the future. So thank you so much, Liam.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.